We are also going to be talking about the urgent action of Save Melissa Lucio. We're going to have our awesome guest speaker today as Carmen Ayala with Somos Tejas. We're going to be talking about ways to get involved. We're going to be letting you all know, if you haven't already, about the State Democratic Convention coming in July. Sign up to ways to volunteer with us, about our Slack. And then we're going to be going to breakout rooms because we have lots to talk about. And then we're going to be explaining what's next, our next meetings. But I'll pass it back to Carla.
Thanks, Kevin. So we're going to quickly go over our principles. These are our principles that we have to ensure that we have productive meetings at our Revolution North Texas. So our first principle is just to be respectful of everyone in this meeting. That goes for those of you who are joining us online, on Facebook, or here on Zoom. We want to make sure that we have a safe space for everyone to have discussion. Also, please do not attack any attendees. We do not want to have anyone feeling like this is not a space safe for them. We welcome everyone to share their opinions and also to participate in this process. So please do not attack anyone regardless of their opinion. We also ask that you don't spam the chats or comments with any non-endorsed candidates or other organizations, as we dedicate time in these calls for our amazing candidates and guest speakers to join us. So we ask that you please do not spam the chat or comments with any non-endorsed candidates or organizations. And when we organize, we win. So to continue our movement, we have to have productive meetings. We definitely will not tolerate anyone who is violating our principles. You will be removed from the meeting, or you will be removed from the chat. So we will go ahead and move forward.
Awesome. Thanks, Carla. So we have an update on our endorsement process. We are about to endorse in these runoff and May elections. It's time to vote, y'all. If you are in our Slack, there's the details there on how to vote in our different races. We have from school board and Richardson, and we have a city council race in Fort Worth and many other races for the upcoming elections. Please, please, please join our Slack, ortx.us, and you can join our North Texas Slack, and then the link will be there. If you have any questions on how to get there, let us know. And this is from candidates who applied for our endorsement, and then we interviewed them, and that's how we're going through it. And so if you have any questions, let us know. I sent the link in the chat, and so we hope that y'all can join us and get ready, because we have some more elections to win. And so excited to see y'all there. And I'm going to so for our next way, we're going to be introducing a really urgent matter right now. And we have some awesome videos to explain of what's happening. And so if you're not familiar with the situation regarding Melissa Lucio, I have 3 videos to explain that just for us. And so I'm going to display them.
What I'm about to say will leave you outraged, or at least it should. This is our client, Melissa Lucio, and in less than 30 days, the state of Texas plans to execute her for a crime that never happened. Now, you might be wondering, what do you mean a crime that never happened? And what I mean is that Melissa Lucio was wrongly convicted and sentenced to death for her daughter's murder when no murder happened. But before I get into all the details, let me just say that there are too many doubts and issues in this case for me to even get to them all in this one video, so there will be a part 2. In 2007, Melissa's 2-year-old daughter, Mariah, fell down a flight of stairs while the family was moving homes. Mariah was prone to falling because she had a foot that turned in that made her unstable while she was walking. After the fall, though, she didn't seem seriously injured, but 2 days later, she took a nap and she couldn't be woken up. The family called 911, but Mariah couldn't be resuscitated. Her death was a tragic accident, not a murder. And yet, within a couple of hours of Mariah's death, police took Melissa in for questioning, and she was never allowed to go home to her 11 other children again. Police jumped to the conclusion that Mariah's death had been caused by abuse, and they interrogated Melissa for 5 hours while she was pregnant with twins. They did that thing that they do on TV where they threatened her, and then they yelled at her, and then they suggested that maybe she would get a lighter sentence if she just said that she had beaten her daughter, but she hadn't actually meant to kill her. Over the course of those 5 hours, Melissa asserted her innocence more than 100 times. And that kind of manipulation and intimidation is particularly coercive for a lifelong survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence like Melissa. And yet she maintained her innocence for hours. Be sure to watch part 2 for the rest. And if you want to take action and help save Melissa Lucio, go to savemelissa.org. This is part 2 about our client, Melissa Lucio, who's facing execution on April 27th in Texas. And I'm going to try and fit everything into this video, but truly, there are so many injustices in this case, they may not even fit in these 2 videos. So after hours of coercive interrogation, during which officers described to Melissa how they thought she had abused her daughter, it became clear to Melissa that they weren't going to let her go unless they heard what they wanted to hear. So she finally gave in to their relentless pressure and manipulation and repeated the descriptions of abuse back to them and said, "I guess I did it," in reference to some of Mariah's injuries. But she never said she killed her daughter because she didn't. It would be a huge stretch to call what she said a confession, but that's what police did. Then 2 of the officers who interrogated Melissa were present at Mariah's autopsy, and because they said she had confessed, there wasn't really any meaningful investigation into Mariah's cause of death, including her extensive health history. And then this false and misleading evidence was presented at her trial. But you know what wasn't presented at her trial? Evidence that supported the argument that Melissa abused any of her children. Several judges who have reviewed Melissa's case have now said that she had an unfair trial. And the district attorney who pursued the death penalty in her case is now serving a 13-year federal sentence for bribery and extortion. But the most important thing to know here is that Melissa urgently needs your help. She's scheduled to be executed in less than 30 days. We really need all the support we can get to stop this irreversible injustice before it's too late. Go to savemelissa.org to find out how you can sign the petition and take other actions to support her, or check out the link in our bio.
Awesome. So that was like the background. And now I'm going to play like a summarized video that they also presented. Thank y'all, everyone. These videos are, it's probably a shout out, first of all, to the Innocence Project. If you're on TikTok, please follow at Innocence, and them on Instagram, I believe on Twitter and Facebook, at the Innocence Project. I shared the link in the chat, and I'm going to pass it to Carla, who's going to be with having our guest speaker, Carmen Ayala.
This is part 2 about our will leave you outright.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, I am super excited to introduce our guest speaker, an amazing activist and organizer with Somos Tejas, who has been doing so much great work, and they most recently hosted an event supporting cause to help save Melissa Lucio. So wanted to ask Carmen, are you here with us today?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We wanted to go ahead and ask you a little bit about the work that you do with Somos Tejas, and if you could share how the event went this past weekend, supporting Melissa Lucio and trying to bring awareness to this injustice.
Yeah, so some of the work that we do at Somos Tejas centers around civic engagement and registering people to vote, specifically in the Latinx community. And so when we heard about the Melissa Lucio case, obviously, you know, being a Latina woman really resonated with our org. So we knew we had to do something to amplify her story, because a lot of people had not heard about Melissa Lucio and her case and everything that happened, you know, with that. And so, you know, we did a rally last Thursday, and then we did a press conference on Friday, and it went really, really well because there was so much media and press. I mean, people from the Texas Tribune, people from Houston, like all over the state of Texas came to the press conference. And I've been in touch with Melissa's oldest son, John Lucio, and we were able to fly him out from Harlingen to Dallas, and it was his first time on a plane. him and his wife flew out here for the protest, for the rally, and they've never been on a plane, but they were willing to come and like conquer that fear, just so people can hear the story, his mom's story. And so it went really well. He, people got to interview him and talk to him, and we did too. And it kind of goes back to the work that we do at Somos Tejas, because the DA from Cameron County, Greg Abbott, they're in these positions because people voted for them. And so we just want to make it, known that we have the power to put these people in power, and we also have the power to take them out. And that's why civic engagement and voting is so important, because these folks get to decide the fate of this family, how it's going to affect them long term. And so that's kind of how we got involved, and how we're pushing it. We're looking to do one final push with the family right before the 27th. I know there was a committee hearing today where the DA said that they will be looking to investigate the case again. So that's good news for the family and for everybody that's been part of this movement.
Absolutely. That is wonderful to hear. And we definitely are here in solidarity with the family. And we definitely hope that anyone here on the call and who's watching on Facebook, that you can try to get involved and help bring light to this, because there are so many Melissa Lucios who have been wronged. And to your point, we have that power to elect officials who can be compassionate and who can say, hey, this is an injustice. We did the wrong thing and we need to fix it, because ultimately there are lives at stake. And we need to do everything we can to make sure that this family can receive the justice that they deserve. They have had Melissa taken away from them for so long, and to now potentially, not have that opportunity to have her be with her family again is frightening, and it's horrific. So thank you so much for being here and sharing that with us. We definitely have been posting those petitions in the chat, and hope that anyone again on the call or on Facebook, you can go sign those petitions and make your voice heard, so we can continue to uplift this before the 27th. I wanted to ask you again, Carmen, can you share some of the opportunities that y'all have available looking into the future? I know you mentioned potentially doing another event for a future date, and then also, any ways that we can help to get folks connected into Somos Tejas.
Yes, so we're working the logistics this week for the final event, and working together with Melissa's family to see what we want to do, because we're thinking about whether we're going to do it in Dallas or we're going to take it to Gatesville, where Melissa currently is in prison. So once we do, we'll put it out on social media. One way to keep up to date with everything that we're doing at Somos Tejas, follow us on Instagram at Somos Tejas, on Twitter, on social media. But also, you guys, we have other opportunities. Like, we know the primary runoffs are around the corner. We're going to do a pachanga at the polls event on the last day of early voting. We still haven't picked the location yet, because we're waiting to see what Dallas County elections, whether they're going to use one or not. But we're going to have a pachanga at the polls, and we're kind of just going to have a party so people could come out, vote, get some free food, some agua de horchata, just make it like a whole festivity. So that's one thing. And if people want to get involved, you could DM us on social media, or you could email me, carmen@somostejas.org, because we're always looking for people to do these community events, to get behind movements like the Melissa Lucio, because you're right, Carla. there's a lot of Melissa Lucios out there who we could use our platform to amplify those injustices so that justice is served. And so anyone that wants to get involved, we do have, a couple events coming up in May around the election, and then we're planning some more in the summer. So just follow us on social media, DM us. We're always looking for people, and I'm glad our revolution helps share our stuff, and we share vice versa.
Absolutely. We are absolutely looking forward to the May elections. We are hoping that we can help get support out for some amazing folks who can be those compassionate leaders and who would be willing to step up and call upon, the Greg Abbotts, and the Ken Paxtons and the Dan Patricks and all those DAs who have not done the right thing in the past to support folks who have been put in this position. So we definitely want to continue to support all the organizations and actions that are ongoing. So as Carmen mentioned, everyone on the call and on Facebook, if you will go to social media, go to our website, and you can find a lot more information there on how to get involved. It's incredibly important to make sure that we have folks registered to vote as well. In this upcoming May election, we have not yet met the voter registration deadline to vote in the May runoff yet. So that is something I know, Carmen, you mentioned Somos Tejas is very invested in. And can you tell us a little bit about some of the team at Somos Tejas? I believe everyone is a VDR, and it's really easy to become a VDR to help register voters. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So we are VDRs in Collin, Denton, Tarrant, and Dallas. We try to get our VDRs in a lot of counties because you never know who you're gonna meet up, like somebody from Kaufman County, and you don't want to be able to not be able to register them to vote. But yeah, our team, when we even volunteers that want to help us, we hey, go get your VDR, and we help with that. Because we do need to get these folks registered, especially with this big election coming in November. Because I was telling a reporter, the outcome of the Melissa Lucio thing. At the end of the day, we're going to take this fight to the polls in November, and we want to be really loud about that.
Absolutely. Coming November is going to be really big to hold folks accountable. There have been so many things ongoing. Of course, Melissa Lucio's case, so many of the horrific bills that were passed in the Texas legislature. And then, of course, the lack of action on supporting, so many issues that have been ongoing in Texas, all down the ballot. I know that it's time is coming to hold folks accountable. So definitely make sure that y'all get registered to vote yourself, and also become a VDR. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can go to our social media or Somos Tejas social media, and get plugged in that way to be able to find more information about becoming a VDR, and also making a voting plan so you're informed on who you're voting for here in North Texas. And just want to take a moment and see if there are any questions from the audience for anyone on Zoom that you might have for Carmen. Don't see any right now, but if there are any questions, again, feel free to put those in the chat or comment on Facebook, and we'll definitely make time for those. And until we see that, Carmen, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to provide any other information, share anything that you think would be useful to our members and volunteers. Feel free to share anything.
I mean, all I want to say is that if you see anything regarding Melissa Lucio, please reshare, retweet, put it on your Instagram story, because it has gotten a lot of traction, especially since Kim Kardashian tweeted about it. So now it's like on the national level. And, I'm glad when, folks use their platform, especially with a big following, to bring awareness to what's happening here in Texas. And, I just want to say for everyone that like shared it and has amplified this, thank you. Like, the fight will continue. We're fighting till the very end. And just be on the lookout for when we have details for the next event that we're going to do. And we just hope that your members can join us in this fight. And that's pretty much it. And just make sure you follow us. Somos Tejas.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carmen. We certainly will. We will absolutely share those details for any upcoming events and make sure to keep people looped in. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to go ahead and move on to our asks. So we just shared a few actions that are upcoming. We ask that you please sign up to volunteer on our recruitment calls, our communications calls, and fundraising calls. You can go to the link ortx.us/North Texas to sign up and express any interest in any particular issues or forms of action like phone banking or block walking or text messaging. We're always looking to make things accessible for folks who want to be involved. So please go to that link, share with your friends on social media so they can also get involved. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the next piece, and I'll pass it off to Kevin.
Awesome. Thanks, Carla. A lot of our members, everyone, and a lot of people were at the Texas Democratic Convention, the county conventions a couple of weeks ago. But we still have the main convention, the Texas Democratic Convention, coming up in July. We'll be giving updates every single monthly meeting because this is an important meeting, especially to get involved in the party, to continue making your local party a more progressive party and a better party overall. And so if you'd like to learn more on possibly running for a state Senate district position, if you are a state delegate, or even, I believe the late sign-up period is still open based on the website it is, to sign up to go to be a delegate for the state convention, go to the texasdemocraticconvention.com. I will also send the detail in the chat, the website in the chat. But it's super important. You can run for platform committee to help shape the Democratic Party platform in the state of Texas. You can think of the rules, the different interlockings of the party, when we think of super delegates, etc., many different things. You can think of, so there's also resolutions, what resolutions the party should adopt, but so much more. You can also learn, meet new people, and get them involved locally. There's so many things that can take place at this convention that already probably took place at your local Senate district convention if you were able to. But if you weren't able to, like I said, no worry. I believe there's still late registration based on the website. And so that'll be something to look into and to attend, and mark your calendars. And it's in Dallas, Texas. It's not always in Dallas, Texas. In 2024, it's going to be in El Paso. In 2026, it's probably going to be somewhere else. And so this is our time to shine right here in Dallas, and meet all the local people, but also let everyone know who our revolution or your local organization, and also let our progressive candidates get the support right here in Dallas, because it's going to be important that we organize and get everyone out. And so for our next update, it's like we're saying, it's important to join us on Slack. And so we sent the link in the chat, but also if you sign up to volunteer, the link will be sent to you immediately afterwards. And so you can join us through that Slack link at ortx.us/Slack, but you can also go sign up to volunteer. And once you volunteer, the email sent directly as soon as you volunteer will have this Slack link as well. And so other than that, I'll pass it to Carla.
Thanks, Kevin. So before we jump into our breakout rooms like usual, we just want to remind you our monthly meetings occur every first Tuesday of the month. So our next meeting is going to be on May the 3rd. That'll be just before the May municipal elections. So we will be really excited to give a final boost to get out the vote on that call. So make sure that you go and RSVP at ortx.us/North Texas meeting. That's NTX meeting. And we'll definitely see you then and hopefully have some really exciting updates from early voting to share then too.
Yes, and really quick before we move on, this is going to be our end for our live stream for everyone on Facebook. Thank y'all so much for joining. Go to rrevolutiontx.com/North Texas or ortx.us/North Texas to learn more about how to get involved. And we're going to be starting our breakout rooms. But other than that, hey everyone, thank y'all so much that are currently in our group, that are currently going to stay on for